Hi everyone, welcome. I'm Sam Rubin, the entertainment reporter for KTLA's Morning News, and tonight I am honored to be your host for Learning Rights Law Center's annual fundraiser, A Cause for Celebration. Tonight's going to be fun, a really fun evening and a meaningful evening. Join me in support of this remarkable organization's 16 years of impactful advocacy and parent education. For SoCal's most vulnerable students, tonight you'll meet the community of people who fight for the needs of K through 12 students who've been denied equal access to education or who face educational discrimination based on their gender, language, religion, or race. Join with me in celebrating the amazing people who promote and protect these rights. Now, whether you're a longtime learning rights supporter or you've just tuned in for the first time tonight, you're going to be inspired by the stories you're about to hear and the honorees we're celebrating while we're on the topic of supporting learning rights. Yes, you've got it. We're all here tonight to offer our financial support so that every child living in poverty that needs the services of the Learning Rights Law Center will receive the help that they're entitled to by law. Now, here is how you can make that happen. You can just click on the donate button on the screen, and when you make a donation, your name will pop up on the screen, and as the night goes on, you'll see the progress being made towards our goal of $200,000. Donations of any amount are deeply appreciated. Now, when you donate $100 or more, your name will light up with confetti. Right now, it's my pleasure to introduce Randy Sunshine, Learning Rights Law Center's new executive director. Here's Randy.
Thank you, Sam, and welcome everyone. A trans student threatened with hospitalization by his school. A gifted and talented program without a single black student identified to participate. A school district deciding what physical and occupational therapy a student with a disability needs. A decision that should be left to a child's healthcare professional. These are the types of stories that Learning Rights Law Center's dedicated staff hear every day. A child is more than their disability, more than their gender, race, or language. Every child is entitled to the opportunity to lead a fully realized life. And education is the key to making this a reality. Righting educational injustice should not be available only to the privileged. Learning Rights Law Center uses the law to make sure that all of our impoverished students have the same equal access to legal representation as families with greater means. We also make sure that our parents, many of whom have limited education or face language barriers, know and understand their rights under law. I would like you to meet the Learning Rights Legal Director, Alexis Casillas. Alexis leads a team of attorneys and advocates who are the front line against educational discrimination.
Good evening. I'm the director of the legal department, and my team of attorneys, paralegals, interpreters, law clerks, law students, and pro bono lawyers work to provide the highest level of legal support and services to students, parents, and community groups. We provide trainings on many educational issues. We host educational rights clinics, and we represent families when a lawyer is needed. And we stick by our clients until their issues are resolved. When needed, we can support them in informal disagreements with their schools all the way to the Ninth Circuit Court of Appeals. Learning Rights is also a sought-after partner with other organizations interested in educational-related issues, and we engage in important advocacy work to ensure that our courts have a clear understanding about the law and how it sometimes doesn't work for our students. As a lawyer, the highest compliment that I can receive is when a client or fellow attorney recommends us to their friends. And I'm proud to say that many learning rights clients come to us through word of mouth. But we also make sure that we're getting our resources out to families who don't even know that we're here to help them. To do that, we offer outreach events within the community, at local libraries, hospitals, and regional centers. We are committed to ensuring that families throughout Los Angeles, Ventura, Orange, Riverside, and San Bernardino counties have a legal voice as they navigate the educational system. 78% of our clients are people of color, and they come from school districts all over Southern California, but are looking to the Learning Rights Law Center to help them make sure that our schools give their students the foundation they need to become successful adults. The following video should help put a face to the statistics and show you the extraordinary power of the Learning Rights Law Center. Please enjoy.
The goal of Learning Rights Law Center is quite simple: to provide children with disabilities the same opportunity for education as those students who do not have a disability. Unfortunately, for many children with disabilities, the ability to obtain a free and appropriate public education is blocked by numerous barriers. These barriers include extreme poverty, language, gender, and race. Learning Rights Law Center partners with each family in their pursuit of education. We make sure that every client receives necessary services, support, and proper placements that meet their needs, improve their educational outcomes, and improve the quality of life for themselves and their families. Qualified low-income families approaching Learning Rights for help are met with compassionate and culturally appropriate advocates who carefully listen to their story and help them in the best way. Common problems include improper evaluations, a school's inability to follow through on an established individual education plan, bullying, expulsions without due process, and discriminatory treatment due to race, gender, sexual orientation, or health. Every family is assessed and provided with an individualized action plan tailored specifically for them. There is no cost for these vulnerable families. When a situation is extremely complicated, Learning Rights will provide direct legal representation to the family. Learning Rights believes that with the right skill set, parents can learn to be their child's best advocate. Our Tiger program is an award-winning, hands-on self-advocacy school year-long program that provides the tools for best parent advocacy. Our Parent Tiger graduates form essential support groups and collectively work to bring about social change within the education system. Learning Rights Law Center is a beacon of hope for impoverished families with special needs children who have nowhere else to turn. In the words of a son of Tiger parents, "Thank you to Learning Rights for giving my parents the tools and knowledge to fight for my rights. I know it is not easy. Learning Rights never gives up. Because of Learning Rights, my life is better." Learning Rights Law Center, envisioning a world in which all children grow into happy, productive, and independent adults.
As you can see, the staff and volunteers of Learning Rights are in the trenches, on the front lines, fighting every day for the education rights of students who have disabilities or face discrimination in the public school system. When you support Learning Rights, you support our mission of education equity. I urge you to help us reach our goal tonight. It is easy. Just tap the donate button on the screen, and we have so many great things ahead of us this evening. So without further ado, it's time to celebrate our first honoree, Morgan Lewis and Bacchius, LLP, recipient of the Champion of Education Award.
Morgan Lewis is committed to serving the public good around the globe. Each year, we provide more than 1,800 pro bono clients, including the Learning Rights Law Center, with the highest possible level of service. Our primary focus is on helping economically disadvantaged individuals and families in the communities where they live and work by advocating for them in areas like public benefits, immigration, domestic violence restraining orders, veterans matters, eviction defense, and civil rights. We also offer legal services to nonprofit organizations whose mission is to serve vulnerable individuals and communities. Among the firm's most impactful work in 2020 was the exoneration of 3 individual U.S. clients who were released from prison after each had spent nearly 30 years behind bars for murders they did not commit. Morgan Lewis also has a firm-wide racial justice task force, Mobilizing for Equality, that enhances pro bono and volunteer efforts for our lawyers and professional staff in critical areas such as law enforcement reform, access to education, and voting rights, among other areas in which we intend to affect long-lasting and impactful change. We are proud to share that in fiscal year 2020, 100% of our 2,100 eligible lawyers met our pro bono challenge, completing a minimum of 20 hours of pro bono service and contributing to a total of 137,432 hours to pro bono representations. Among those pro bono hours is our work on education equality. We are proud to support the Learning Rights Center's mission to advance educational equality among Los Angeles area families and communities. Since 2017, our Los Angeles office has partnered with LRLC to represent at-risk students in education due process matters and settlement monitoring on individual education programs. Last year, as a result of the COVID-19 pandemic, our lawyers worked in partnership with LRLC to alleviate a backlog of settlement agreements, creating case plans for families, and guiding families through a process necessary to leverage the services available to their children. We look forward to continued opportunities to partner with LRLC to ensure that disadvantaged students receive an equitable public education.
On behalf of Morgan, Lewis & Bockius, I would like to thank Learning Rights Law Center for the honor of awarding our firm your 2021 Champion of Education Award. My name is George Benjamin, and I am an associate at Morgan Lewis. This year, I had the pleasure of working with LRLC, assisting their clients secure their educational rights. John F. Kennedy said, "Let us think of education as the means of developing our greatest abilities, because in each of us, there's a private hope and dream which, fulfilled, can be translated into benefit for everyone and greater strength for our nation. One person can make a difference, and everyone should try." LRLC's dedication to clearing the way for all students to have the opportunity to develop their greatest abilities, irrespective of their disability, race, ethnicity, income level, or involvement in the juvenile justice or foster care systems, is critical for our community. I am proud to have had the opportunity to work with LRLC and hope to continue our relationship into the future. I would like to take this opportunity to thank several people whom I've worked with this year and who are instrumental in Morgan Lewis receiving this award. First, from the LRLC team, a special thank you to Marisol Chianello, Kyung-Yu Hugh, and Leticia Mejia. Last, to the Morgan Lewis team who supported our projects this year. Ariel Landa Searson, Mark Conrad, Clifford Sethnes, Maddie Anand, James Norty, Matt McKenna, Marshall Stoddard, Robert Hayes, and Rachel Strong. Thank you.
Congratulations, Morgan Lewis Bockius, for your tremendous work. And we thank you for the dedication of your pro bono resources and attorneys to support the work of Learning Rights. Another way you can support Learning Rights from the comfort of your own home is by bidding on our online auction. Just go to learningrights.org/ACFC. Press on the auction button. You'll find all sorts of great things to bid on. Pay special attention to this amazing auction item, the perfect escape to paradise. How about this? Spending 5 days, 4 nights, I want to go, in a 2-bedroom seaside villa at the exclusive Banyan Tree Mayakoba Riviera. Wow, located just 40 miles south of Cancun, Mexico. There are also incredible, priceless pieces of history generally donated by the Trebek family. You can bid on this, a gorgeous black and white portrait of Alex Trebek about to walk onto the Jeopardy set for the 7,000th episode after being introduced by the one and only Johnny Gilbert. In addition, the Trebek family has generously donated a pair of glass dice bookends that were a gift to Alex Trebek from the show High Rollers that he did back in the mid-70s. Education, as you know, extremely important to Alex Trebek. Help us honor his memory and raise funds for one of the Trebek family's special charities, Learning Rights Law Center. Our auction's live until Sunday, October 24th at 8 p.m. Pacific time. Do tell your friends about these incredible items. All the funds raised through the auction directly support the Learning Rights Law Center. Our second honoree of the night is Emily Groden, the recipient of the 2021 Advocate Award. Today, Emily is a college student, but until she was 27 years old, she was unable to articulate her thoughts. An extraordinary technological breakthrough allowed Emily to become a published author and a fierce advocate for herself and members of her community in an effort to dispel the misconceptions and non-acceptance of those with autism.
I've been buried under years of dust, just found my voice, and now I have so much to say. After 25 years of not being able to let anyone know how she was feeling, those were the first words Emily Grodin communicated to her parents. Emily was born with nonverbal autism. She was never able to express her thoughts to anyone. Ideas and feelings all trapped inside her mind. Over the years, Valerie did what any loving mother would do, try anything and everything to be there for her little girl and help her. Eventually, Valerie discovered a way for Emily to express her thoughts called facilitated communication. It turned out to be the key that unlocked Emily's mind and allowed her to express herself to the world. I have been buried under years of dust. That unforgettable first statement from Emily is now the title of a memoir written by Emily and her mother, Valerie Gilpeer. Emily also wrote this dedication in the book. For every person who is searching for their voice and all those who struggle to be heard, we dedicate these words to you.
Hi everybody, it's Assemblymember Jesse Gabriel. I am very proud to represent the West San Fernando Valley in the California State Legislature. Also proud to be with you this evening to honor and recognize and introduce Emily Grodin. I want to congratulate her on winning the Learning Rights Law Center Advocate Award. No doubt for all of you that know her that she is an extraordinary human being. My staff and I have so enjoyed the opportunity to get to know her and her family a little bit, to work with her. So deserving of this award. And so Emily, on behalf of myself, on behalf of my colleagues in the California State Legislature, we want to thank you for your tremendous advocacy. We want to congratulate you on this very, very well-deserved recognition. We have absolutely no doubt, and I have absolutely no doubt, that you're going to continue to do wonderful things for this community and to serve the people of the state of California. So thank you for all you do. Congratulations, and we really hope to see you soon. Thanks, everybody.
Good evening. I'm Valerie Gilpeer, and this is my husband,
Tom Rubin.
Tom and I are Emily Grodin's parents. We are absolutely thrilled that Emily is being recognized this evening and honored as Advocate of the Year for Learning Rights Law Center. We could not be prouder of Emily and how far she has come. Emily and I co-wrote our memoir, I Have Been Buried Under Years of Dust, which details the struggles that we as a family had to obtain appropriate educational services for Emily. Even as two attorneys, we found access to the educational system challenging, but we fought diligently to obtain the services for Emily that she was entitled to by law. While we were more advantaged than many in seeking the educational services which were so vital to bringing Emily to this point in time, the challenges for those who have fewer resources are even greater. That is why the work of Learning Rights Law Center is so vital, as it endeavors to provide legal assistance to those who would otherwise be voiceless. Without these vital legal services, so many of these students that Learning Rights Law Center serves would be left behind and would be denied educational services to which they are entitled. Learning Rights Law Center focuses on the most vulnerable K-12 students who have learning disabilities, physical disabilities, or otherwise face discrimination by providing not only support and guidance in litigation through advocacy and trial work, but they also provide fantastic training and support for families as well as community organizing skills. There can be no understating the importance and significance of teaching parents how to assert and advocate on behalf of their children. Parents are a child's best advocate. Tonight, we thank Learning Rights Law Center for recognizing Emily this evening as she continues, through her words and writings, to dispel notions and disbeliefs about the intellectual capacity of those with nonverbal autism. Through Emily's resilience, gentle spirit, and dedication, and with our support, Emily has achieved beyond what any educators expected for her. Thank you for acknowledging Emily, and thank you for your support of Learning Rights Law Center.
What comes to mind when I hear the word advocate? A strong voice, a defender, an ally. Years ago, those are not words that one would use to describe me. I had not found my voice. I had not immersed myself in community. I knew what I believed in, but had yet to take a stand. I did not set out to be an advocate. I did not know the power in my words. There is something that happens, though, when you realize that people are listening. All of the things I felt and believed in, I did not just want people to know. I needed people to know. So I began to write about everything that felt important. Autism, the non-speaking experience, mental health, education, climate change, politics. I am honored to receive this award for so many reasons, but the greatest is this. For so long I relied on others to advocate for me. Today, I can advocate for those who cannot yet advocate for themselves. I believe this is a duty. Advocating, at least for me, is just part of being human. These words I wrote represent that duty. This is The Good Fight by Emily Faith Grodin. If you were to ask all the ways in which I have felt the need to scratch it and fight with and challenge, I could write a novel, speak for hours on end on those ways, because I still fight every day to live life the way I want to. The world does not bend for me. Instead, I bend to fit the world. When there is no place for me that I am able to see, I make one. For all deserve the chance to be. I will still fight if I have to, still scream if need be. If life won't be what I need, I'll fight to make it right for me.
Congratulations, Emily. We are in awe of your strength and perseverance. As Emily's mother, Valerie, so beautifully pointed out, the work that Learning Rights Law Center does is vital. And you can help Learning Rights Law Center continue to do this amazing work by pressing that donate button on the screen. Let's keep the bids and donations coming in so we can keep moving towards our goal of $200,000 and beyond. Our next honoree is Jean Trebek and the Trebek Family Foundation, who for decades have been on the forefront of helping children in need. Tonight, we present the Trebek Family Foundation with the 2021 Equity Award.
I'm Allison Martin, and I'm a friend of the Trebek family and co-founder of InsideWing.com with Jean Trebek. It is my distinct pleasure to present the Learning Rights Equity Award to the Trebek Family Foundation and to Jean, Matthew, and Emily Trebek. Learning Rights and the Trebek Family Foundation is the perfect synergistic relationship, each striving to break barriers, to support families, to level the playing field, thereby securing a family's ability to live a full, dynamic life. So, thank you, Learning Rights, for the good you do in the world, and a deep, true, heartfelt thanks to the Trebeks for their continued dedication to serving, improving, and inspiriting life for all.
The Trebek Family Foundation was started by Alex and Jean Trebek in 2011. The mission? To support nonprofit organizations that assist in uplifting, improving, and nurturing the quality of life for all. Currently, Jean and her children, Matthew and Emily, are continuing Alex's role in this vital work by overseeing the Trebek Family Foundation with the same passion and love that Alex had. The foundation currently donates to many educational institutions, crisis intervention facilities, international associations, as well as a muskox farm in Alaska. Here are just a few of the organizations that the Trebek Family Foundation supports. Hope of the Valley, preventing, reducing, and eliminating poverty, hunger, and homelessness. The Doe Fund, providing economic opportunity, housing, career training, and supportive services to homeless and formerly incarcerated men. The Compassion Project, ensuring that every primary school student in the U.S. understands what compassion is and how to practice it. Aid Still Required, shining the spotlight on forgotten areas like Haiti through extensive outreach campaigns. Helen Keller International, eliminating preventable vision loss, malnutrition, and diseases of poverty. Valley International Prep High School, helping public school students achieve the college dream. Children's Burn Foundation, providing full recovery services to child burn survivors. World Vision, partnering with children, families, and their communities to reach their full potential by tackling the causes of poverty and injustice. The Muskox Farm, dedicated to the domestication of the muskox and to the promotion of kiviat production as a gentle and sustainable agricultural fiber. Ed Asner Family Center, creating an oasis of special needs services to give the community arts and vocational enrichments as well as mental health support. And of course, Learning Rights, fighting to achieve education equity for underserved families. This wonderful, diverse group is a small sampling of all the organizations that the Trebek Family Foundation has touched. Jean has expanded her commitment to sharing the good by co-founding a lifestyle website called InsideWink.com, which explores all these charities on a deeper level, connects communities, and affords a gentle, safe landing place in today's hectic world. For the Trebeks, it's the knowing that we are all in this together, that our common experiences will bring us closer, allowing us to live with passion, conviction, and determination. The Trebek Family Foundation.
Hello, I'm Jean Trebek, and I could not be more honored to be receiving the Equity Award on behalf of the Trebek Family Foundation. The word equity means justice and fairness, and that speaks so much to the mission statement that Alex and I stood behind when we created our foundation. The desire to assist underrepresented people live a good, meaningful, and purposeful life. I've personally been involved with learning rights since 2014, and I'm always inspired and impressed with what this amazing group of people are doing for hundreds and thousands of students, their families, and schools. It does take so much time, effort, resources, and skills to advocate for someone's rights, and moreover, teach someone, like parents, how to advocate for their children's educational rights. I have witnessed Learning Rights Law Center in action, and the results that have come from this remarkable organization, led and founded by Janine Steele, are nothing short of miraculous. So on behalf of the Trebek Family Foundation, I thank you from the bottom of my heart for this award. We are so grateful and supportive of all the good works Learning Rights is accomplishing now and in the future.
Congratulations, Jean and the Trebek Family Foundation, for the amazing work you've done and continue to do. We also want to take a moment to thank our generous sponsors, and we want to give a huge shout out to our hero-level sponsors, Grant and Peggy Cambridge, the Trebek Family Foundation, and Alicia Mignana. And Rob Lovelace. Many thanks to all of you for your incredibly generous support of this event. We're extremely grateful for the incredible amount of contributions we've received tonight, but we don't need to stop now. You can just click that donate button and you'll be able to make a donation to directly support the work of learning rights and the families in need that they represent and educate. Up next, we have a very special award. Learning Rights Law Center has established a new award, the Founders Award, which will be presented yearly to an individual or organization who has been a change maker in the world of education rights. The first award is presented with love to Janine Steele, the co-founder of Learning Rights Law Center, whose trailblazing advocacy has made learning rights a force in changing the lives of children and their families.
Good evening. I'm Alicia Mignana. Every once in a while, you meet a person that you instantly click with. Janine Steele, you are definitely one of those people for me. I'm so happy that we got to spend the time we did together at Learning Rights Law Center. From the very beginning, I knew that the work you were seeking to do was essential to the families in LA and also elsewhere. I was not familiar with all of the obstacles that families face when trying to put in school their child who has special needs. Janine, your personal struggles with learning were illuminating to me and to so many others, and really paved a way for us to understand. From the beginning, Janine had a plan, not just to help herself, but to also look for a way to help others who were struggling similarly, who had fallen through the cracks, and who were in danger of becoming forgotten by the system and by society. Janine, we wouldn't be here but for you. This is your creation, born out of your passion, out of your blood, sweat, and tears, out of your sense of justice. You gave me my first opportunity as chair of a board, and I brought a bunch of friends to help me out on the board. Most of those friends are still here on the board and are supporters of our mission. I was always the hard ass, and Janine was the humane person. During those first years, I think that you and I became experts at crisis management. We learned accounting, human resources, grant writing, board governance, employee handling, litigation, settlements, rental agreements, insurance, and last but not least, we learned about office politics. And then one day, I saw Janine in action at a school hearing and at a settlement conference. I was in awe. She was fierce and totally the hard ass. There was no way that her client was not going to get the services that he or she required. Wow, she became my hero. Seriously, superhero Janine. Forget the Avengers, nothing compared to Janine. Janine came one day and said, I'm going to a conference called Rebellious Lawyering. I wasn't familiar with the term, but then it became clear that this is what Janine was. Rebellious lawyering, I've used that term now so many times. Janine, you're my superhero. You embody grassroots and community advocacy. You are a rebellious lawyer. You are a true leader with values and convictions that feed our mission and that give us hope. Thank you for having this wonderful idea and nurturing it so that it would blossom into a meaningful and really essential organization. Janine, we met 23 years ago, and it's been a ride. We have learned about justice together, and you've done good. I will end with a quote from your favorite lawyer, Ruth Bader Ginsburg. Fight for the things that you care about, but do it in a way that will lead others to join you. You absolutely embody this quote. It is my honor now to present you with the Founders Award. Thank you for everything that you continue to do for learning rights and that you have done. Congratulations.
Janine Steele knows firsthand what it means to struggle with a learning disability. Janine struggled in school because learning was a mystery. Frustrated, she dropped out of high school and continued to struggle. She tried once again and enrolled in Long Beach Community College. A sympathetic professor suggested she get assessed for a learning disability. After Janine was diagnosed, she discovered her purpose in life: to fight for the rights of students with disabilities. Janine was determined that no child experience what she went through in her years of struggle. She went on to graduate from Cal State San Francisco and then UCLA School of Law, where she developed the first version of the Learning Rights Manual, a guide to the civil rights of students in the education system. After receiving an extremely competitive fellowship, Janine spent the next 5 years becoming an expert in special education law and advocacy for low-income families. In 2005, she met with fellow UCLA law graduate Alicia Mignana about the possibility of creating a nonprofit organization that would be dedicated exclusively to education equity. The result was Learning Rights Law Center. Its founding staff of 2 attorneys began to work one-on-one with students experiencing many of the same difficulties that Janine had faced in school. Their client list grew, and so did the organization's staff. Realizing that they were not able to personally assist every family that needed their help, Janine conceived the Tiger Program. Professionally, Janine has been first chair and co-counsel on a variety of civil rights litigation and special education proceedings. She is a sought-after professor of special education law at Loyola Law School, USC Gould School of Law, UCLA School of Law, Claremont Graduate University, and Loyola Marymount University School of Education. She is asked to keynote important conferences, and has received multiple awards for her work, including the Diane Lipton Award for Outstanding Advocate from the Council of Parent Attorneys and Advocates, the Harrison Sylvester Award from the Learning Disabilities Association of America, and the Viking of the Decade Award from Long Beach Community College. Thousands of Southland families who desperately needed help and who had been overlooked by the educational system arrived at Learning Rights with a difficult story. The thread that bound them all together was the fact that they felt as though their voice was not heard. Janine Steele and the teams she created listened and took action on their behalf. Janine Steele, a voice for the underserved, a champion for educational rights, and the founder of Learning Rights Law Center.
Thank you, Alicia, for those kind words, and thank you, everyone at Learning Rights Law Center. You know, leaving Learning Rights was the hardest thing I've ever done. Being a founder and following my life's passion and work has been a journey just like learning was for me. As a child, I felt frustration, confusion, and a feeling that something was wrong, but I just couldn't articulate exactly what that was. I could understand and be creative, but bookwork, it was just a mystery. I was placed in honors classes in high school because everyone thought I was just not trying hard enough, but then I failed. It was not until later, after several years of struggling, I started at Long Beach City College, and that is where my learning disability was diagnosed. I started to learn how to learn and received accommodations as required under the federal laws. I knew I needed to do something to make a difference. And guess what? I was lucky enough to be accepted at UCLA Law School, and it was there that I found my passion towards education law and becoming a rebellious lawyer. I wanted to ensure that no other student had experienced what I did. And while in law school in 1998, I had a vision of learning rights. Since then, I worked hard and steadily toward that vision to have an organization that would provide access to justice to families who did not have the means to hire an attorney, and to inform families about their rights, to make sure that they know how to navigate a system that is sometimes complicated and overwhelming. It required a commitment to me to listen to the community and respond to their needs. I worked tirelessly, what you do, what you see in justice, and to lead is also to inspire, and I hope I have. We started Learning Rights with a staff of one, and now I'm so proud to see the new executive director, legal director, board and staff move Learning Rights to a greater vision. I never did this alone. There were so many people that worked with me to make sure that Learning Rights and the families we serve get what they need. The individual and systemic work Learning Rights does is so important. I used to feel that every case was like a final and urgent. I thought I would feel different after all these years, but I do not. I am proud of the legal work Learning Rights has done, including fighting for the rights of foster youth and changing the way schools address their needs and preventing the over-identification of students with disabilities, and to ensure the rights of students are properly identified, and all the work we've done in Oxnard. Learning Rights has made such a difference in the lives of students in Southern California, and I look forward to watching them make a difference nationwide. This is a Founders Award. It's my greatest legacy I could ever hope for. I'm honored for me to be the first recipient and to have the award named for me in ensuring years. The award is a manifestation of the love for education, learning, and the beautiful commitment to the idea that every child, regardless of their family income, their language, race, gender, or disability, is precious and deserves every educational advantage as they make their way to adult life. Thank you, everyone who made this award possible, and thank you, Mark, my beloved husband, who stood by me as I began Learning Rights Law Center and continues to stand by me every day. Thank you.
Congratulations, Janine, on this very well-deserved honor. Janine's work has no doubt had a profound influence on the public education landscape, not only in Southern California, but across the nation. Her commitment, compassion, and dedication to impoverished students facing hurdles in their attempt to access a fair and equitable education, their right under law is without peer. Janine, you've made a deep and lasting mark on society. We are nearing the end of our program, so I want to take one last opportunity to remind everybody watching at home how you can further Janine's mission and advance Learning Rights Law Center's profoundly important mission. You can donate with just a few taps. Donations of any amount are deeply appreciated. I'm now going to hand things off to our Executive Director, Randy Sunshine, so she can close out this great night. Thank you everyone for joining us tonight. I hope we've had a good time celebrating and supporting Learning Rights Law Center. It's been my pleasure, my honor to be your host and help such a great cause. Randy, it's all yours.
Good night, Sam, and good night to everyone watching A Cause for Celebration. Every child deserves a bright future, and your support helps make that dream a reality.
Thank you.
Thank you. Thank you.